Yes, hello. I'm, in fact, Vesa-Matti Hyppönen, not Mekbib, as you were perhaps expecting. I've worked at Frosmo for about a year now, and a lot of things have changed in that year. Things have, advanced a lot, and one of those things that have advanced a lot is product recommendations. That's something close to my heart, so I'll be talking about relevancy and accuracy in product recommendations. That's the baseline of any good product recommendation. So they're both important. I'll just give a small example. Like, this is Mekbib and his 2-year-old son. He's sitting outside in a cafe. His shirt is blue. He couldn't make it here today. Yeah, that's all accurate, but it's not really relevant to anyone sitting here today. So maybe better would be, this is Mekbib and his 2-year-old son. He works at Frosmo in the customer service function, same as me, as a developer. And I'm his replacement speaker today. And he couldn't make it here today, yes. It was an issue with his passport. He can fit his hair literally in the picture. Yeah, that's true. The passport officials were very, very particular about his hair. So yeah, accuracy without context and relevance could be harmful even. So how would you go about teaching your recommendation system to actually care what's relevant and what's not? Like searching for the Lion King, you get 40 million results, that's all good and well, but then how to sort them into order? All of these documents probably have the word "the" in them, and less frequently lion and king. So we want to put focus on the less abundant words. So we can use term frequency and inverse document frequency to achieve this goal. So we're putting more weight on the rarer words and less on the more common words. So here we can see just the basic graph of how this kind of comes into play. The blue line would be a logarithmic scale to kind of dampen the effect of the word "the" because it's used so much. And the inverse document frequency would be the exact opposite, so it would give more weight to the rarer words which are relevant to the user, like lion and king in this case. So why is accuracy and relevancy not enough? There can be many reasons, but one is that they've failed the test of obviousness. For example, the item, product, whatever you're trying to recommend, they're out of stock. There's no point in putting something like that in your recommendations. But what we really want is to introduce new items to the user that they didn't actually know they wanted yet. And yeah, so this is, obviously we need to factor in what the user has been doing in the site beforehand. So what products they've viewed, how they've interacted with previous recommendations they've seen. If they've been ignoring something, then maybe we can just drop that one, use displays for something more relevant to the user. But yeah, so how can we introduce this novelty or serendipity into product recommendations? Novelty just meaning new items, serendipity kind of something new that they want, but they didn't yet know that they want, which is kind of, yeah. This is all very subjective to the user, so we need to somehow get into the user's head to be accurately recommending products and not just picking out random new things. There is actually equations to do this, and the technique is usually called collaborative filtering. There's two basic models. There's the memory-based model, which is easier to implement. It's based on grouping users in neighborhoods, if you will, kind of similar-minded people that like the same kind of things, so you can cross-sell items. This is the equation here. This is a prediction for user A for item I. The bottom one is determining the weight, which we were talking about earlier. There's also a model-based approach, which is much more complex, and the target of that is to find non-obvious correlations between items and users. So something that's not plainly visible to the human eye, something that maybe nobody even thought of. It's kind of self-correcting system. Once you set it up, of course, it's very difficult to get completely correct. But yeah, there are many upsides to this. This equation is neighborhood-based automatic collaborative filtering using the Pearson correlation, so a specific version of the memory-based model. So I'm going to keep this short. The obvious recommendations: you want to filter out anything that the user obviously doesn't want, which isn't available. That's kind of obvious. By showing items that are obviously of no interest to the user, you're actually wasting screen real estate, which is quite expensive, especially in the visible fold. And in the worst case, you might be making users blind to that spot on your website, so that's the last thing you want. Recommendations: they should try and rise beyond accuracy and relevancy, and try to be novel and serendipitous as well. It's very technically challenging, but once you get it right, it will self-adjust to new users, new items, without really any input. Of course, people, don't forget to A/B test. It's very important. You might have a wonderful system which you think works perfectly, and then in the end, it's the simple things that work. That's it. Thank you.